Good morning, everybody, and thank you for the invitation to speak at this Offshore Safety Conference 2016. I've noticed that in the offshore industry you have a firm expression about safety, and that's safety first. This testifies that the company's visions on safety are sky high. A wise person once said, it's good to have visions, but visions without actions are just dreams. And the question is also whether the industry's impressive visions for safety are followed up with actions. But a look at the industry's accident frequency extinguishes any doubt you really mean safety first. Despite the fact that working offshore is connected to the risks of falling, explosions and fire, it's remarkable that so few people are involved in an accident. Actually, the risk of accident is so low that the offshore industry is one of the safest places to work in Denmark. Now, that's impressive, because I know that a safe working environment is not achieved with a click of your fingers. It requires strong leadership, it requires dialogue and trust, and most important of all, it requires focused daily efforts in the workplace in cooperation between leaders and employees. I'd like to thank the organizers. With this conference, you create a unique opportunity for leaders to share their experiences with safety. The challenge constantly changes, and it's crucial to be one step ahead if you are prevent accidents. Like Murphy's Law predicts, anything that can go wrong will go wrong. Therefore, it's all about ensuring that nothing can go wrong. And if it goes wrong anyway, it's all about learning from your mistakes so they don't happen again. I know you often begin meetings with a safety moment where management share their views on safety. And I would like to relate my view on safety. The thing that illustrates the importance of safety best is in reality the absence of safety. Just imagine that Danish workplaces would be like without safety. That's not even something we need to image. In the history books we can read about how just 100 years ago Danish children and adults worked under quite harsh and unsafe conditions than what's the case today. And unfortunately, in some countries, insufficient safety is still a reality. During winter, I visited Bangladesh to mark the start of a new authority cooperation in the field of health and safety. It made a deep impression meeting a group of factory workers who survived when their workplace, a large textile factory, suddenly collapsed. 1,100 employees were killed under the rubble, and more than 2,000 were injured. Today, many of them are disabled for life. A lack of safety has thus enormous human consequences, and my view on safety is quite clear. Regardless of what storm company might find itself in, there are no excuses. It must be safe to go on work. And this is, first and foremost, a responsibility that rests on the shoulders of the employers. Fortunately, the majority of companies in Denmark take their responsibility seriously and work diligently on health and safety. They know that the best condition for growth and positive figures on the bottom line is healthy and motivated employees. We can be proud of the results. Denmark is one of the best countries in the world where working life has the very best conditions. As Minister, I would like to acknowledge the tremendous health and safety work that takes place in and around the country's workplaces. Figures show that development is going in the right direction with a record few occupational accidents and fatal accidents in Denmark last year. But we haven't reached the finish line just yet. Fact is, there are still too many who are injured, become ill, or become worn out from their work. Therefore, I'm also really pleased that a majority of Parliament political parties last year agreed to boost the health and safety efforts for onshore work. For example, with the agreement, we have targeted the risk-based inspections. This means that the Danish Working Environment Authority, since the 1st of January this year, has conducted more inspections on the companies with the biggest health and safety problems, and fewer inspections of those that have health and safety under control. At the same time, companies that grossly violate the health and safety regulations experience stricter inspections and higher fines, and that's how it should be. Therefore, there have to be consequences if a company ignores its obligations to ensure a proper working environment. With these initiatives, I'm convinced that we are going in the right direction. But more is needed. Even though we, the Parliament, set the framework for Danish working conditions, one thing remains clear. It's first and foremost the employer's responsibility to ensure a good and safe working environment. Therefore, as Minister, I would like to urge that the health and safety work is given a natural place on management's agenda. Because if the work is to move in all seriousness, it requires that management sets strategic directions and integrates the work throughout the company. Health and safety should be included in the terms for operating a sound business, because it is good business. A good working environment means increased productivity, less illness absence, and more satisfied employees. At the same time, a good reputation can attract skilled employees and lead to more orders. That a good working environment benefits in terms of both people and finances is hardly new to you. Rarely have seen such professionally managed safety work as in the offshore industry. Just the fact that a collective senior management prioritize coming to this conference shows that a high level of safety is a part of the company's DNA. You have been able to create a culture in which safety permeates the entire industry, from senior management to the people on the deck. For example, this can be seen by the mandatory safety briefing we had a while ago. And it can be seen by campaign material on safety not only being available offshore, but also at the headquarters. But something has struck me as one of the most important things in the way in which companies learn from their incidents, based on the view incidents are opportunities for learning, not failures. That this is an attitude one can go far with can be read directly from the industry's accident frequency rate. If we turn back to 10 years ago, the average accident frequency rate was 6.5 per 1 million working hours. Today, I'm glad to be able to announce that the accident frequency rate in 2015 is just 1.7 per 1 million working hours. This is a great development and also gratifying, making of this conference 10 years anniversary. But there have also been bumps along the way. The number of offshore accidents increased unexpectedly in 2014, and admittedly, this was of concern. On the other hand, the way in which you tackled the problem was admirable. In order to meet the development, a number of initiatives were put on work. For example, increased senior management focus and stronger cooperation in the industry. And everything indicates that the initiatives had the desired effects. In the second half of 2015, only one occupational accident was registered. Well done. It shows that management can create significant results if they take the right initiatives. It's important that we know about the development of occupational accidents, but just as essential is that we know how we can address the problems. Here, dialogue and transparency are absolutely crucial prerequisites. Therefore, it's also very positive that you constantly strengthen your cooperation and learn from each other across the industries. For example, I know that Oil Gas Denmark has established a network group and a lesson learned website. Here, companies find important knowledge about safety and draw on each other's experiences. My hope is that other companies and industries will be inspired by this. Openness and dialogue are also necessary in encounters with new operators in the North Sea who need to learn about Danish offshore conditions. In this regard, I would like to take the opportunity to welcome Wintershall, which this coming summer will be Denmark's fourth permanent operator in the North Sea, besides Maersk, Hess and DUNG. I hope you will not only see each other as competitors, but as important partners with a common goal for high-level safety offshore. The systematic way in which you use and share knowledge about safety should be spread to other industries. Because even though most companies want to have a good working environment, not all of them know how best to make a start on the task. Something needs to be done about that. Therefore, the government will support development in which companies can get more knowledge about what works best in relation to special challenges they face. The Danish Working Environment Authority will have a key role here, and we know that the inspectors stand face to face with companies and can assist them in starting the work. For example, the Danish Working Environment Authority can provide data on risks and accidents for the industry in which the companies operate and enter into dialogue with management about the health and safety work. In this way, companies gain far more knowledge of why it's important to prioritize health and safety. In conclusion, I have just one single request. Carry on doing what you do because it works. And that's the reason why the offshore industry currently has a leading position when it comes to safety. Every day you demonstrate that your grand visions are not dreams, they are reality. Thank you for letting me have the floor and continue enjoying this conference. Thank you.